Today, I want to speak carefully, because the words prophetic and America can stir people fast. But what I'm sharing is not fear, not politics, not a rumor. It's a quiet impression I felt while praying about the USA in 2026. A sense that the year will press on hearts in a different way. Like a spiritual weather change you can feel before you see it. Some of you have already been sensing it. The restlessness, the heaviness, the sudden clarity. Today, let's talk about what that could mean and how to stand steady through it. The message I couldn't ignore about America in 2026. Today, the strongest thing I felt was not a picture of chaos. It was a feeling of weight, like a season where truth sits heavier than comfort. You know how sometimes you can laugh, but your heart won't fully join the laugh. That's what it felt like. As if 2026 will make many people face what they've been avoiding. Not to shame them, to wake them. And the strange part is, the message didn't feel like punishment. It felt like a loving correction. Firm, but not cruel. I sense that many will try to distract themselves through 2026. More noise, more arguing, more entertainment, more running. But the deeper pressure won't go away. Because it's not coming from outside only. It's coming from inside. Like a conscience that won't sleep. Like families needing to talk about things they've been hiding under the rug. Like communities realizing they can't keep living on autopilot. That's a hard truth. But it's also a doorway. Because honesty is how healing begins. Another part of the message felt personal, not national. As if the real battleground won't be television screens. It will be kitchens, bedrooms, quiet car rides. The places where people finally admit, I'm tired, I'm scared, I don't know what to trust. And in those private places, faith becomes real. Not as a slogan, but as daily breath, daily choices, daily patience. That's why I say this is not about sensational headlines. It's about the soul of a people. I also felt something about foundations, like structures being tested, not just buildings or systems, but values, the way we treat neighbors, the way we speak about those who disagree, the way we raise children, the way we handle stress. Foundations don't break when things are calm, they break when pressure comes. And 2026 felt like a pressure year, not necessarily a disaster year, a revealing year, a sorting year, where what is solid stays, and what is hollow shows itself. And here's the quiet comfort inside it. The message didn't end with darkness. It ended with a call to steady living. Slower words, cleaner hearts, stronger families, deeper prayer. I felt that people who return to simple faith and simple integrity will not be crushed by the year. They may still feel the pressure, but they won't lose themselves in it, because their inner life will be anchored. And an anchored person can walk through storms without becoming the storm. A quiet warning, 2026 won't feel like a normal year. Today, when I say not normal, I don't mean you should panic. I mean the emotional atmosphere may feel different, like the air before a big summer storm. Everything looks the same, but your skin knows. 2026 felt like a year where small events trigger big reactions, where people feel stretched, where patience runs thin, and where the old ways of coping stop working. Not because life is evil, but because growth demands new tools, and many people are still using the old ones. I sensed an increase in mental fatigue, not just from work, but from carrying too many opinions, too many arguments, too much fear. It's like the mind gets tired of being a battlefield, and the soul starts asking for peace in a more serious way. That's why 2026 may feel unusual. It might push people toward decisions they've been postponing, leaving what drains them, changing habits, rebuilding routines, even changing friendships, because the heart won't tolerate the same poison forever. Another reason it may not feel normal is because people will be tested in their identity. Not identity as a label, identity as character. Who are you when you're disappointed? Who are you when you're misunderstood? Who are you when the money is tight? Who are you when the family is stressed? Those questions don't get asked loudly. They get asked by life, through little moments. And I felt 2026 brings many little moments that add up, like drops filling a bucket, until something finally changes. I also felt an increase in forks in the road, moments where you choose one of two paths. One path is easy and familiar. The other path is right and uncomfortable. And the year felt like it rewards the right choice slowly, not instantly. That can frustrate people who want quick results. But spiritual growth often looks like quiet obedience, quiet restraint, quiet honesty. Things the world doesn't clap for, but heaven notices, and your nervous system thanks you later. There was also a sense of exposure, not gossip exposure, but inner exposure, where hidden motives rise to the surface. People may realize they've been living for approval, living for comfort, living for control. And when that realization hits, it can feel like shaking. But shaking is sometimes mercy, because it breaks the spell of denial. And denial is what keeps families sick for generations. A year that breaks denial can also open healing. So yes, 2026 may not feel normal, but not normal can be a gift. Normal isn't always healthy. Normal can be numb. Normal can be habitual. Normal can be settling. I felt 2026 nudges many people out of numbness, and that's uncomfortable at first. But later, it can become the most important turning point of their life. The moment they stopped drifting and started choosing. Why God kept repeating one word about the USA. Today, the one word that kept returning in prayer was refine. Not destroy, not abandon, refine. Like metal being purified, like a life being cleaned. Refining sounds gentle until you remember what it involves. Heat, pressure, time, and patience. And that word felt aimed at the heart of the nation, but also at individual homes, as if the big story and the small story are tied together, because a nation is made of households, not headlines. Refining often begins with discomfort. You start noticing what you used to ignore, the sharp words, the bitterness, the mistrust, the constant suspicion. The feeling I got was that 2026 may bring many people to a point where they can't tolerate their own inner noise anymore. They will crave honesty. They will crave simplicity. They will crave real faith, not as a show, but as a place to rest. That craving is not weakness. It's the soul waking up. The word refine also suggests separation, not separation as hatred, separation as clarity, separating truth from rumor, separating wisdom from rage, separating conviction from performance, separating faith from fear. In 2026, I felt many people will discover what they truly believe, not what they repeat. Because repeating is easy, living is harder. And the year may press people to live what they say, in their marriages, parenting, work ethic, and speech. That is refining. I also sensed refining in the way people talk, like the tongue becomes a major test. Quick insults, quick assumptions, quick mockery. Those things feel normal online, but they poison the heart. And when a season of refining comes, that poison starts tasting bitter. People may suddenly hate the taste of their own sarcasm, not because they became soft, because they became clean. Clean hearts don't enjoy dirty speech. It starts to feel heavy, and you want to drop it. Now here is the part many don't expect. Refining also includes comfort, because God doesn't only correct, He strengthens. I felt that many chosen ones will be given unusual calm in the middle of pressure, like a quiet confidence that doesn't make sense to others. And that calm will confuse people who only know drama. They'll say, "Why are you not panicking?" And inside, you'll know, because you've been prepared, and preparation looks boring until it saves you. Ahead in this video, I'm going to share how this refining can show up in homes and leadership without turning into fear. And I'll also explain the hidden battle underneath the loud arguments. Because most people fight the wrong enemy. They swing at each other, but the real war is inside the mind and heart. As we open more of this, you'll start noticing small tests in your own day. Little forks, little pressures. And the way you respond to those small moments can quietly decide how 2026 feels for you. A refining season for homes, hearts, and leadership. Today, I want to bring this down to earth, because prophetic can feel distant unless it touches real life. Refining often begins at home. How we treat family when we're tired, how we speak when we're stressed, how we handle money pressure, how we manage anger. 2026 felt like a year where the cracks in relationships become more visible, not to embarrass, to invite repair. Some homes will pretend, but others will finally do the hard work, and that work will change generations. In the heart, refining looks like confronting private habits, resentment, secret bitterness, self-pity, the urge to blame everyone, the habit of escaping instead of facing. This isn't about being perfect, it's about being honest. I felt many people will reach a point where their inner life demands attention. The body will say no more. The mind will feel tired of running, and the heart will whisper, "Can we heal now?" That whisper is where miracles start. Not dramatic miracles. Slow, real ones. Leadership refining is tricky because people expect leaders to fix everything. But leadership begins in character. How leaders respond under pressure. How they speak about opponents. How they handle power. I'm not here to promote any side. I'm saying 2026 felt like a year where character gets tested in public, and people will feel tired of performance. They will crave sincerity, even imperfect sincerity, because it feels safer than a polished lie. And that craving will shape many decisions. You may also see refining in communities, neighbors, churches, workplaces. People will be forced to practice kindness again, not as a slogan, as a skill, because constant division drains everyone. It drains sleep. It drains health. It drains joy. A year of pressure often pushes people toward either deeper division or deeper maturity. And maturity means learning to disagree without cruelty, learning to speak without dehumanizing, learning to stand firm without turning cold. For chosen ones, refining may look like you becoming quieter and stronger at the same time. Less interested in proving, more interested in peace, less interested in gossip, more interested in prayer, less interested in winning, more interested in wisdom. That change can confuse people around you. They might call you distant, but it's not distance, it's depth. Depth doesn't always talk much. It listens, and it chooses carefully. And the outcome of refining is not emptiness, it's strength. strength that doesn't need applause, strength that can hold a family together, strength that can forgive without becoming foolish, strength that can say no without hatred. I felt 2026 will reward that kind of strength, not instantly, but steadily, like a tree growing roots. Deep roots are never dramatic, but they hold when winds come. The hidden battle, fear versus faith in the public square. Today, the loudest battle in America often looks political, but underneath it, there's a spiritual struggle. Fear versus faith. Fear says, protect yourself at all costs, trust no one, insult first, assume the worst. Faith says, stay anchored, stay truthful, stay kind, choose wisdom over panic. I felt 2026 will make this battle sharper, not because God wants drama, but because people must choose what spirit they will live by, the spirit of fear or the spirit of steady trust. Fear is contagious. One angry post spreads, one rumor spreads, one scary story spreads, and suddenly a whole community feels tense. Faith is quieter. It doesn't spread through screaming. It spreads through example, through calm speech, through patience, through boundaries, through prayer. That's why fear seems stronger sometimes, because it's louder. But loud is not the same as powerful. Loud is often insecure. Faith can be calm and still carry authority. In the public square, fear pushes people to dehumanize. They stop seeing neighbors as people. They see them as enemies, labels, threats. That's how society gets sick. And I felt 2026 challenges that sickness. Not by forcing everyone to agree, but by forcing people to see the cost of hatred. The cost is not just social, it's personal. High blood pressure, broken families, sleepless nights, constant tension. The body pays for what the heart holds. Faith doesn't mean pretending everything is fine. Faith means facing reality without losing your soul. It means saying, yes, things are hard, and still choosing integrity, still choosing compassion, still choosing discipline, still choosing prayer. The year felt like it rewards those who refuse to surrender their character, even when tempted, even when mocked, because character is the only thing you truly own in a crisis. There's also a hidden battle in how people consume information. Fear loves endless feeding, scrolling, arguing, reacting. Faith loves discernment, pause, prayer, checking the heart, asking, is this making me wiser or just angrier? I felt 2026 will expose many people's habits here. Some will realize they've been living in constant reaction, and the moment they step out of reaction, they feel relief, like stepping out of a crowded room. This battle will not be won in one election or one event. It's won in daily choices. What you speak, what you share, what you entertain, what you forgive, what you refuse. That's why this is spiritual, because it's about the heart's direction. And I felt God calling people back to faith that produces stability, not faith that produces arguments. Stability that can bless a household and calm a neighborhood. What 2026 reveals? That 2025 could still hide. Today, I feel 2025 can still hide certain things because many are still managing stress, managing relationships, managing addictions, managing anger, putting a lid on it. 2026 felt like a year where the lid doesn't hold as easily. Not because God wants people exposed, because God wants people free. Some people can't begin healing until what's hidden becomes visible. And visibility is uncomfortable, but it's the doorway to change. One thing 2026 may reveal is what people truly trust. When pressure comes, the real trust shows itself. Some trust money, Some trust control, some trust popularity, some trust a certain group, but pressure reveals the limits of those trusts. I felt a call for people to return to deeper trust. Trust in God, trust in truth, trust in daily discipline, because those are the things that don't collapse as quickly. A year that reveals false trusts can feel painful, but it can save lives long term. It may also reveal the state of families, what's been avoided, what's been forgiven too quickly, what's been buried. The holidays often shine a light on family dynamics, and 2026 felt like a continuation of that light, a brighter light. People might be pushed to have honest conversations, to set boundaries, to seek counseling, to reconcile where possible, to separate where necessary. That's not anti-family, that's pro-health, because pretending isn't unity. It's denial. Another reveal is emotional maturity. Many adults were never taught how to handle disagreement without cruelty. 2026 felt like a year that tests emotional maturity in public and private. Who can disagree without humiliating? Who can stand firm without becoming harsh? Who can apologize without collapsing? Those skills are spiritual in my eyes because they require humility, and humility is strength, not weakness. It can also reveal the quality of leadership people choose to follow, not just political leaders, but voices, influencers, friends, family elders. Every home has leaders, people who set the emotional tone. 2026 may reveal which voices bring peace and which bring agitation, and people will start choosing differently because they'll be tired. Tired of division as entertainment, tired of anger as identity. And here's a quiet mercy. Revelation gives choice. A hidden problem feels hopeless. A revealed problem can be addressed. So even if 2026 reveals uncomfortable truths, it also creates openings. Openings for repentance, repair, restructuring, and renewal. A year that reveals is not the enemy. It's the wake-up call many prayed for, even if they didn't imagine it would feel like this. A call to prayer. That isn't about religion, it's about survival. Today, prayer is often misunderstood. People think it's only a ritual. But I'm talking about prayer as alignment, as returning to sanity, as breathing in the middle of noise. In a year like 2026, I felt prayer becomes survival. Not because God is far, because life is loud. Prayer is where you stop being pulled by every headline and every emotion, and you return to your own center. And that center is where wisdom speaks. This isn't about arguing over denominations. It's about the heart's posture, humble, teachable, honest. Many people talk about faith while living in bitterness. That contradiction is exhausting. I felt a call for prayer that changes behavior, prayer that softens the tongue, prayer that strengthens discipline, prayer that restores sleep, prayer that helps you forgive without becoming naive. That kind of prayer is not performance, it's medicine. Prayer also becomes a shield for families, not in a superstitious way, in a practical way. A praying home often becomes a calmer home, calmer speech, clearer boundaries, less impulsive decisions, more patience with children and elders. That's real protection, not because the home avoids trouble, because the home responds better to trouble, and response is everything. Two families can face the same problem. One collapses, one adapts. Prayer often makes the difference. I also felt prayer being needed for discernment, because 2026 may bring confusion, and confusion makes people vulnerable to scams, rumors, panic, and manipulation. Discernment is a gift, but it grows through quiet time with God, through stillness, through honest self-examination, through refusing to let anger be your advisor. A person who prays well doesn't become passive. They become clear. And clarity is a form of courage. And prayer is not only asking for things, it's listening. Listening for what you should stop. Listening for what you should start. Listening for what you should ignore. Some people's greatest breakthrough in 2026 will not be a new opportunity. It will be a new boundary. And that boundary will come from prayer, from a quiet conviction that says, enough. That's how God protects. Often through inner guidance, not outer spectacle. So yes, prayer here is survival. Not because the year is a monster, but because the year may tempt people into fear. And fear makes people do foolish things. Prayer slows you down. It restores dignity. It returns you to truth. And truth is what keeps a person steady when the world around them is shaking emotionally. Unity will be tested in unexpected places. Today, most people expect unity tests to happen on big stages, elections, protests, social media. But I felt unity will be tested in quieter places, family dinners, workplace conversations, community meetings, church groups, school events, the places where people can either practice respect or practice contempt. Contempt is a silent killer. It kills love. It kills patience. It kills cooperation. And 2026 felt like a year where contempt becomes costly. Not only morally, emotionally and physically. Unity doesn't mean everyone thinks the same. It means people refuse to treat others as less human. That's the test. Can you speak firmly without cruelty? Can you disagree without humiliating? Can you protect your boundaries without turning cold? Those are spiritual skills, and many people were never trained. So 2026 may feel like a classroom. And the lessons will arrive through real conversations, not textbooks. Unexpected unity tests also happen inside one person. You can be divided within yourself. One part wants peace, another part wants revenge. One part wants faith, another part wants control. 2026 felt like a year that forces inner unity first, because a divided heart spreads division. A steady heart spreads steadiness. That's why personal healing matters for a nation. It sounds simple, but it's true. Healed people don't need to create enemies to feel alive. I also sensed unity being tested through compassion. People will see suffering, economic stress, loneliness, mental fatigue, and the test will be whether we become harder or softer. Hardness is a common defense, but it's not strength. Strength is staying kind without becoming foolish. Kindness with boundaries. Generosity with wisdom. That kind of strength can hold a community together when pressure rises. There may also be unexpected unity tests through rumors, half-truths, quick accusations. In a tense year, people become quick to assume. I felt a call to slow speech, to verify, to be careful with what you spread, because a single careless rumor can break relationships for years. That's not only a social issue, it's a spiritual responsibility. Words create environments, and environments shape children. And still, unity will not be built by perfection. It will be built by ordinary people choosing maturity, choosing apology, choosing restraint, choosing prayer before reaction. Those choices look small, but they stack, like bricks. And eventually, you have a wall strong enough to hold a roof. A nation can't be held together by rage. It can be held together by steady hearts doing the quiet work. The midterm year pressure, a spiritual lens on division. Today, election seasons always increase emotional heat. People feel threatened. people feel defensive. People get pulled into us versus them. I'm not here to preach politics. I'm saying the spiritual risk is division becoming identity. When division becomes identity, people stop thinking clearly. They stop loving well. They stop listening. I felt 2026 may carry this pressure, and the real test will be whether people let that pressure steal their peace and their character. A spiritual lens asks different questions. Not who is right first, but what spirit is driving me. Am I driven by fear, rage, pride, or by humility, clarity, and love? Love doesn't mean agreement. It means refusing to become cruel. A year of political pressure is a year where cruelty can feel normal. Jokes become insults. Opinions become contempt. Families stop talking. That's the cost, and it's higher than people admit. I also sensed fatigue. People tired of constant conflict, tired of being manipulated emotionally, tired of feeling like every conversation is a battlefield. That fatigue can become an opening for renewal. Because when people are tired enough, they start craving peace, not as weakness, as wisdom. And I felt many chosen ones may be used as peacemakers in real life, not online, in their families, workplaces, communities, through calm presence and careful speech. Another test is discernment. During heated seasons, misinformation spreads fast. People share without checking, react without thinking. A spiritual person learns to pause, to breathe, to ask, is this true? Is this helpful? Is this necessary? That pause is powerful because it interrupts manipulation. It's not passive, it's disciplined. And discipline is one of the strongest forms of spiritual authority. Midterm pressure also tests relationships. Some friendships won't survive because they were never built on respect. They were built on sameness. And when sameness breaks, the friendship breaks. That can hurt. But it also reveals who loves you as a person, not as an opinion. I felt 2026 may expose that. And exposure can be painful, but it also clears space for healthier connections. So the spiritual lens on division is simple. Protect your heart, protect your speech, protect your home's peace. Refuse to make anger your personality. The year may be loud, but you don't have to be loud inside. A calm person can see clearly, and clear sight is what prevents regret later.